right, guys, let's get ready to start writing algebraic equations. Now, this handout is actually a listening guide that goes with a video that would have been in our lesson had we done this in class. So I am going to be including that video link in with this video link. So I want you to just put yourself a note that says video link. Let's do additional. So there's an additional video link that goes with this that kind of goes through this same thing. So I'm kind of got a little bit started a little ahead of you right here, just to make sure it was in line with that video. So an equation is a mathematical sentence that uses an equal sign. This should be equal sign. I'm sorry. To show this should be equal sign. Equal sign. To show expressions are equal. To show that two expressions are equal. Okay, so we're taking two expressions and we're making them equal. Just like writing expressions, you will need to look for keywords. And we did our keyword sort back when we did expressions, and you should still have access to that in your Google Classroom. So I'm going to put a note right here that says look for sort, because you did a math vocabulary sort way back at the beginning of the year, and in that sort we're going to be using those same words. Okay. Words that mean equal to, and that's the equal sign, is words like is, the same as, and equals. Okay, so let's go ahead and start looking at some of these examples. Write the sentence as an equation. The sum of n and 7 is 15. Sum of means add n and 7. So the sum of n plus 7 equals 15. Okay, and just so that we have the practice, we're going to go ahead and solve these while we're doing this to practice doing equations, just for some additional practice with equations. So n plus 7 equals 15. All right, so here's my variable term. Here's my constant term. I want to zero out that constant term. That becomes a 0. I bring down my n, and 15 minus 7 is 8. And I am going to grab my calculator because I do not want to mess this up. Just going to come right here. I'm not using my mashed potato brain because it's tired today. 15 minus 7 is 8. Okay, we are done. Something that I noticed today, once you get right here and you have a positive 1 coefficient with n, you're done. You don't do anything else. You don't try to divide both sides by 1 or -1 or any of that kind of thing. We're done. Okay, now I'm going to be changing up my colors just so that we don't get things mixed up, so that you can kind of make sure you see everything clearly. The product of x and 13 is 39. Product means to multiply, and I'm going to use a dot and not a, actually we could use a dot or we could use parentheses, but we know that when we write multiplication, that's going to be 13x is equal to 39. Okay, and I'm going to come back over here and just put number 1. And so over here, I'm going to come over here and just do number 2. So 13x is equal to 39. This is 13 times x. So if I'm multiplying by 13 here, I've got to divide by 13 on both sides. And x is equal to 3. Okay? All right, 24 is the same as the quotient of w and 3. 24 is the same as, means equals, quotient means I'm going to be dividing. So I've got 24 is the same as, the quotient means divide, and we write division with a fraction bar, W and 3. So number 3 is 24 is equal to W divided by 3. Now we're going to, you know, Miss Walker doesn't like it written this way. So I'm going to erase this and try it again and write it the way Miss Walker likes to write it, just because I want to honor her. So 24 is equal to W divided by 3. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. The multiplicative inverse makes that a 1. I'm not going to go through the whole process of how it happens, but the multiplicative inverse makes that a 1. So this W just comes down here, and then we multiply 3 times 24, and we get 72. Those are one-step equations. I want you to label those as one-step equations. Those are not a two-step equation. Those are all one step. These are all one-step equations. There was only one mathematical operation in the way of us getting our variable with a 1 coefficient. And that's what we want. We want our variable with a positive invisible 1 coefficient. Okay? All right. 9 less than a number B equals 2. So 9 less than a number B equals 2. So less than is going to mean subtract. So 9 less than a number B. So B minus 9 equals 2. 9 less than a number B means that the 9 has to be taken away from the number. So we have B minus 9 equals 2. We're going to add 9 to both sides. And B equals 11. You need to make sure you're showing all of those steps with everything you're doing. Showing your steps exactly the way that I'm showing them on here. Do not get lazy on me, because lazy is not going to get you anywhere. The product of a number and 5 is 30. The product means multiply of a number G and 5. So that's going to be 5G is 30. So we're going to come over here. 5G is equal to 30. We know that 5 and G are being multiplied, so that means I've got to divide both sides by 5. The multiplicative inverse makes that a 1. And G is equal to 6. A number K increased by 10 is the same as 24. A number K increased by 10 is the same as 24. Is the same as is your keywords for equals. So we'll come right over here. K plus 10 equals 24. And we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. That becomes a 0. And K equals 14. Now it didn't say in the directions to solve these. It just said to write them. But because we need the practice solving, we're just going ahead and solving them as well. The quotient of a number Q4 is 12. That should be Q and 4. But quotient is divide of a number Q and 4 is 12. Hang on just a second, guys. I'm going to grab. Go ahead and try to work that one real quick while I grab this. Okay. Tell him just to lock me out. Okay. So, what do we have? We've got Q divided by 4 is equal to 12. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. The multiplicative inverse makes that a 1. That's all you have to know, is that the multiplicative inverse makes that a 1, leaving us Q right there, and 4 times 12 is 48. All right, so that's those. Okay, let's flip this over. Now we're going to get a little bit harder. After 2 rounds on the voice, 24 contestants have been eliminated. There are 12 contestants remaining. Write an equation you can use to find the number of contestants that started in the competition. So, 24, all right, so now we've got to get to the point where we're looking at this and we're going to have a variable term, a constant term, and a total. Okay? So the voice and 24 contestants have been eliminated. There are 12 contestants remaining. All right, so C are our contestants. Our variable term would be C. Our total is going to be the number that are remaining. And 24 have been eliminated. So, C minus 24 is going to equal 12, and we want to know what C is. So we're going to add 24 to both sides. So 24. All right, that's our equation. My pen, the tip on it's broke. So now I'm going to come over here and solve it. C minus 24 equals 12. If we add 24 to both sides, C is going to equal 36. So C equals 36 contestants started out. Okay? You enter an elevator and go down 7 floors. You exit on the 10th floor. Write an equation you can use to find the floor where you entered the elevator. All right, so we're going to have a variable term, a constant term. We've got an operation right here equals our total. So we had a variable term, an operation, and a constant term, okay? So you enter the elevator and go down. All right, so use the question. Write an equation. You can find the floor where you entered. Find the floor where you entered. So we know that that's going to be our variable term. So we're going to call that F, the floor where we entered. So the floor we entered, we're going to go down 7 floors. So we're going to subtract 7 floors from that. That's our constant term. And we're going to end up on the 10th floor. Now, here's the catch. You're probably thinking, I know the answer to that is 17. Okay, that's great. But what if the answer choices have the equation and not an answer? You've got to be able to write the equation, okay? So you've got a variable term, an operation, and a constant term, all equal to a total. All right? So now if we come over here, let's just solve it just for the fun. We're going to add 7 to both sides. That zeroes out. And F equals 17. And that's how you get the 17 that you probably already knew was the answer to start with. Okay? Together you find you and a friend have $52. Your friend has $28. Write an equation you can use to find how much money you have. How much money you have is what we don't know. So we're going to have a constant term, an operation. I'm sorry, we're going to do the variable term first. variable term, operation, constant term, an equal sign, and a total. Okay? You and your friend have $52. There's our total. Your friend has $28. That's our constant. She's got $28, period. How much money you have is what we don't know. And when we put that together, we're going to be adding that, and we get $52. So my amount of money plus what my friend has is equal to $52. So now we're going to come over here and work it. X plus 28 equals 52. We subtract 28 from both sides. And X is equal to, and I'm going to do that on the calculator because my mashed potato brain is tired. And X is equal to 24. So $24 is how much money we have. A typical person takes about 24,000 breaths each day. Write an equation you can use to find the number of breaths the typical person takes each minute. Okay, well, this one's a little bit harder. All right, so we know we're going to have a variable term, an operation, a constant term, an equal sign, and a total. Okay, and we also know that 24,000 is going to be our total. 24,000 breaths a day. Well, no, that's 24,000 in a day. All right, well, to me, this is much more. Well, before we can do anything, we've got to know how many minutes are in one day. How many minutes are in one day? There are 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. And there are 12 hours is equal to 1 day. So, we've got to multiply 60 times 12. There are 720 minutes in a day. And I'm going to double check that just to be sure I'm not telling you something wrong. But you're multiplying oh wait, I did that wrong. One day, it says, all right, I did something wrong. How many minutes are in a day? It says 1,440. All right, hang on, let me see what I did wrong. All right. 1,440 minutes in a day. Each day, oh my gosh, you guys, there are 24 hours in a day. There are 24 hours in a day. And if you multiply 24 times 60, you get 1,440. Y'all, told you my brain was tired. There are 24 hours in one day. So that's how, so now, a typical person takes 24,000 breaths in a day. Write an equation you can use to find the number of breaths a typical person takes each minute. So, if they take 140 per minute, times how many breaths they take is going to equal the 24,000 breaths in one day. And then if we divide both sides by 1440, and you do not have a problem this hard, this is just one that's good and challenging for you. So we're going to do our 1440 divided by, or 24,000 divided by 1440. And we get about 16 breaths per minute. It's 16.67. It's actually 16.6 repeating. So it would be like 16 2/3 breaths per minute. About 16 breaths a minute. All right, so there we go. That's getting us started on writing equations with word problems. All right, that's day one of writing equations with word problems. That's all you had to do. All right, don't let this problem right here mess you up or scare you. This was just a good challenging problem. I don't think you have anything, you're not gonna have anything like that on any kind of assessment. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. I am going to put the other video that goes with this in the link so you could watch them both. Now, don't forget that I am going to also be uploading the video of this. No, we're doing this in class tomorrow. I don't know what I'm thinking. Never mind. Okay. So just get this done tonight, and I will see you tomorrow.